No charges. That is the DOJ's decision in the case of Shanquella Robinson, the black woman who died while vacationing with associates in Mexico in October 2020. The DOJ says there is insufficient evidence to charge anyone for her death. The Robinson family attorney, Sue Ann Robinson, no relation, says the DOJ's decision is extremely disappointing.
Why I say on behalf of the family, again, we're very disappointed, very deeply disappointed. But we're not deterred because it's something that we've seen before, and we know that we have to carve our own path to justice. Ms. Robinson knew that when she asked me to go on a fact-finding mission to Mexico, that we were obviously in a state of affairs where there's two different justice systems in America. And we know that in ours, we have to fight for our justice. We have to rally for our justice. We have to beg for the same constitutional rights. And Shanquella is doing that even in death. Even in death, she's having to fight for her rights as a U.S. citizen, as a victim of a crime. The U.S. authorities have to understand and have to know that even if for them it's not about Shanquella, that United States citizens cannot go to Mexico, commit a crime that we all saw on a video, and then come back to America and say, we're on base, we're safe, we're not going to be charged with a crime. That cannot be the message that the U.S. authorities want to send. So again, discrepancies caused or discrepancies in the autopsy results between Mexican authorities that we've all been discussing, that we've been discussing, unfortunately, and not being discussed by the right individuals, have all been caused by delays. If it had been taken serious from the very beginning, if the internet and the people and social media didn't have to create the movement behind the case and the authorities would have gotten involved the minute the video surfaced, there wouldn't have been a delay. There would have been immediate statements taken from the individuals involved. There would have been time to take an immediate autopsy of the body before it was embalmed. All of those things would have been done, but because it was the death of a young, black, beautiful, brilliant, educated woman who was on vacation, justice was delayed.
Robinson died on a trip with several associates, according to Mexican authorities. She was a victim of femicide and a hate crime by several individuals, including Daejhanae Jackson, one of the people she was traveling with. Robinson's family subsequently received a death certificate that stated that she died of at least a dislocation. First of all, her brain was swollen, also a broken neck and the spine as well. U.S. authorities conducted an autopsy on Robinson and, based on available evidence, have concluded insufficient evidence to support the prosecution. The DOJ has not provided details of their autopsy, although it is a crime to murder a U.S. citizen in a foreign country under the U.S. Constitution. The FBI has not called Robinson's death a murder. Mexican authorities ruled Robinson's death, again, a femicide. Robinson's family continues to seek justice, and they plan a march in Washington, D.C. to the DOJ on May 19th. Rebel Patillo is host of People, Passion, Politics, News and Talk, 1380 WAOK in Atlanta. Rebecca Carruthers, Vice President, Fair Elections Center. Joe Richardson, Civil Rights Attorney. Glad to have all three of you here. Robert, I'll start with you. So the point that Sue Ann Robinson makes is that if authorities in the U.S. did not wait, they could have recovered critical evidence. But waiting and having to respond to pressure allowed those involved to, delete phone calls, text messages, potential evidence, and also not having a rigorous examination of Robinson's body. Your thoughts on this decision?
Well, it's an absolutely tragic situation. I hope that the people who are involved sleep well at night, knowing that they will be haunted by the specter of always the opportunity of more information coming to light, and there's always an opportunity to reopen these cases once more evidence is discovered. There is no statute of limitations on murder, so they may have not had a prosecution at this point, but that does not mean there's not an opportunity for a prosecution down the line. If anybody who's watched the show First 48 understands the importance importance of those first 48 hours after a murder, because it's so important to be able to get fresh DNA evidence, to get forensic evidence, to be able to analyze the body immediately at the point in time when after they have been deceased, to find out exactly what the cause of death were, and also to ensure that you are able to get those documentary evidence, such as phone calls, such as text messages, emails, etc., that may go towards proving culpability. All that was absent here, and this is part of the difficulty with the criminal justice system, particularly when you're dealing with international cases, making sure that this evidence is brought to life. And then also the fact that Ms. Robinson in this case did not have anyone with her who was willing to call the authorities there. You're only with the people who are covering up for whatever happened, as opposed to somebody who could actually be on your side. I think this is a warning to all of us. Be careful who you are around. Be careful who you are traveling with. Be careful who you think is your best friend and who are your homies, etc. Because at the end of the day, all these people simply acted to cover their own trails, and right now it seems that they've gotten away with it, but hopefully more evidence will come to light and they'll be able to be prosecuted down the road.
Joe, this woman is dead. No one is going to be held accountable.
And what's crazy is Mexico's not the problem. Mexico seemed to have a more accurate autopsy, at least in that there seemed to be some consistency between what they came out with and what we saw on that video. Often video is pretty powerful evidence that gets you to a place. You don't always investigate knowing how it's going to come out. Investigation is not about a predetermined result. It's about taking what you have and seeing where you can go with it. And so it is a shame that the U.S. government is not putting the full weight, putting their weight on it, as it were, pertaining to this issue, particularly when you have someone that could potentially be brought to justice. Certainly ask questions. You can certainly take some trees, as it were, some informational trees, and find out everything that there is to be found out. I wonder aloud if they've done that. They had done a autopsy that seems to have a different result from Mexico, but there's no word about them really uncovering every stone that they need to find out everything they can about getting justice for this person and for this person's family. And so if I'm them, I'd be wondering aloud too. Does this system fail us not only when we're alive, but when we're dead? Because she is an American citizen, and there's some things that should be brought to bear related to that. And you wonder out loud, if this person was of a different persuasion, would there be a little bit of a different reaction? It's a shame we have to think that way, but they could be doing more than they're doing for sure, regardless of where it came out. I don't know that they've gone as far as they could go, and to me, that would be an outrage.
Becca?
Well, I definitely hope that the Robinson family decides to pursue a wrongful death lawsuit against those who went to Mexico with Shanquella and murdered her. And also, murder is a crime in Mexico. So there still is room and time for the Mexican authorities to actually pursue murder charges against those folks who accompanied Shanquella in Mexico.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause to long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.